Alright, we're back with game 2. This is actually the round of choice from the second round of the tournament. We're not quite to the semifinals yet. We've got an entirely different group of players. Let me introduce the team real quick. The map is Meridia. This is one that we played on stream just a little bit ago. One of the new ones that Morax created. Let's see what we got here. A Chief Jaguar is on the north side, and on his team we've got Keyser and Unicorn Noob. That's going to be what? An 1800-ish, 1900, and 1800. So, very solid team up there. On the south side, we're going to have some familiar faces as well. We've got Taquito, whose ACU names are hilarious. iSandbox's build order. What's this building for? So we've got Taquito, we've got Heaven in his traditional Aeon garb, and what? I'm gonna call him Chalk. He is Chalk now, forever and always. Let's break down the build orders and then we'll get into the action. So we've got first land, first land, then Hydro. I'm assuming some P-gens are going to go down, and then there's going to be an air factory here. We've got the same build for Heaven and also for Taquito. And this actually makes a lot of sense because the Hydro is readily available on this map. Of course, you're going to go for it first. Second air definitely queued for Taquito, as well as for a Chief Jaguar and for Keyser. The repeating theme is real. Unicorn Noob not building adjacent to the Hydro. He went first air factory. He's going second land factory. This is a weird build. Not entirely sure what he's thinking. When it's a 1800 player, you can never be too sure whether it was a misclick and they're making it work so well that it looks like they did it on purpose, or whether it was a mistake. Or whether it was intended, and it is working. Oh my goodness, I need to get my tongue untied. Not used to doing this kind of thing in the morning. Looks like there is a transport building there. So Chuck is going to be able to spread out to some of the further reaches of the map. It's kind of the same thing going to happen on this one as happened in the first one. It is 3 people and 3 people on a 4v4 map. Or actually, this one is a 5v5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th one right there. So there's going to be a couple of extra expansions, a whole lot of mass extractors available for a couple of people. But you can, of course, break this up more fairly, because this guy can take all of these mass extractors and those 3, and then Chalk can get up here to these 4 and take the expansions. So you can break things up much more evenly if you so desire, but then again, you could just hand every single mass extractor possible to the best ecoer on your team and then run with it. Jaguar has got his transport out early. He's dropping in the center island. The cool thing about these is that the lines of sight are very interesting. So you've got these mountains all the way around. This is kind of like a natural formation, actually, because if you had a volcano that one side caved in on, it would look exactly like this. So destroyers cannot fire over the walls, which means this guy out here is not as exposed as you would think he is. There's a couple lines of sight for some shots over here, but the majority of his base will be protected, and these cannot be climbed by Salems. There is a lip there that prevents it, so hover units can cross, but boats cannot get up on the land. So it creates some very interesting dynamics as the units are moving around the map, and it doesn't completely let one person get screwed over unnecessarily if they don't build up as fast as the other guy to a very specific unit. Keyser is dropping NGs all the way across the map. Those are going to spread out, get the mass extractors, get that eco in his pockets as quickly as possible. And then we got a land factory going down right there in order to help secure this island. Looks like Heaven is doing the same to the center landmass, but he is being a little bit slower about it and not dropping at the far reaches because he is going to try to get... He put an Aurora on that transport, the sneaky bastard. He is going to drop that son of a gun over here to try to kill off engineers and prevent them from building the NGs. That is actually a really cool move. Similar to the ghetto gunship that some people, including me, are quite fond of using on the Setton's airdrops in the early game. We got our first naval factory going down into the water. I misspoke. A Chief Jaguar already has 2, so he is ahead of the curve on this one. We've got 2 factories here and 1 there belonging to this team. So 2 and 2. Not actually as asymmetrical as I thought it was, although this one is very, very misplaced. We've got 1 factory already down for Unicorn Noob and another building. And this is an interesting one because this is going to let him build frigates right next to the enemy base and hopefully shut down any navy that he is trying to produce. Also going to have an attempt here, but look at that. The hill is just tall enough for a frigate not to be able to hit that mechs. He can kill this one though, and if he positions correctly, he can kill that one. But you gotta think about your terrain as you're using that navy. And apparently he did just notice that, and he is going to move forward a little bit to try in a different spot. Artillery out, trying to hit the frigate. We do have a counter frigate out for Unicorn, but not before there is a frigate available to chalk on the front line as well. And that son of a gun is going to run right over here, zap that engineer, and then cause a little havoc in another place, I am sure. Air is being built very quickly, as it very well should be. Got quite a few from Keyser. This is probably the de facto air slot in most people's eyes, but Navy as a whole is more valuable on this map in the very early game. Kind of like T1 tanks versus building only T1 bombers. Eventually the tanks would win out in this situation because you can just start building a little anti-air on the ground. Same kind of deal. Frigates have their own anti-air. Once you get 2 or 3 of them in a spot, bombers just die hilariously. 4 factories for Heaven. That is quite a substantial amount, actually, for the amount of eco that he has, but he is spreading out and getting all these other mass extractors, so I'm sure that he is not stalling too much. Got a fair amount of interceptors out for Taquito, but he does not have them all as clumped up as Jaguar does, and I think Jaguar is going to use that to his advantage and win. Solidifying that win is going to be Keyser's interceptors coming over from the right side. And that is going to be, yeah, that is going to be an overwhelming victory for the north side in the air game. There's a handful of interceptors over here, 2 or 3 over here, and the north side has just got an overwhelming number. So this might turn bad for the south if that air advantage can be taken advantage of. On this side, we've got some T1 subs starting to come out, and that is going to be somewhat useful, seeing as there's only frigates out right now for purple. But T1 subs kill frigates so slowly that they could potentially still do some damage. And there are quite a lot of frigates around. And more streaming up from the south side. Look at Heavens joining the pack, moving up to the north, going to try to harass the ever-living hell out of Unicorn Noob. These mass extractors are nice and safe and sound, though. Under the sea. Gotta have a submarine to kill those sons of guns. Unicorn getting an upgrade out in the middle of the water. I did not see what it was. Upgrading T2. So he might be going for a little bit of area denial, building a T2 torpedo launcher out there in front of the mouth of his bay. Might save him a little bit of headache, but at the moment his headache appears to be moving around to the back of his island and hitting some of the stuff around there. Here comes a drop. It is only a single T1 engineer, but it is still a drop. Interceptors, no! They are going to shoot the engineer off the transport and then kill the transport. That is the end of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the little NG that couldn't. It was probably going to try to snag this reclaim in the rocks on the front side of that island, but alas, it was not meant to be. Unicorn, you gotta get that done, because otherwise you're going to be in for a bad spell. Air coming in to eliminate the torpedo bomber that is harassing those frigates. Frigate's going to get hit up by that sub. Going to take it a long time to eat through that much HP, but eventually they could do it. What are we looking at eco-wise? Heaven has drastically outscaled, even achieved Jaguar in economy, which is kind of weird. The eco heavily favors the south side, and this aggression is brutal. This is exactly what you want to see when you're in the T1 phase of a game. You just want to shut down what your opponent is doing and just make it where they can't even use their economy for the things that they should be using it for. They might have the mass, but they can't spend it on the Navy. If I were the north side, I would be probably dropping some engineers out here to try to build up naval factories, hopefully out of the sonar reach, so that you could get those up before this is clued in and comes and kills your factories. Jaguar doing pretty dang well against his opponent on the south side, so he is going to secure the naval win on the left, I feel like, although there is quite a bit of assistance on that. He has already made the T2 Navy shift. There will be destroyers headed to the south side, so that is probably going to be a little bit too much for this guy to deal with. Just wait. Taquito not making the leap to T2 anytime soon, it would appear. You know what's really insulting? When your opponent comes to your land, over your base, practically up in your own house, and beats you in air right there. The disrespect, man, the disrespect. Unicorn's got that T2 ACU in the water. He is going to be assisting that T1 torpedo launcher like mad. Actually doing a pretty good job of healing it versus the onslaught of 3 or 4 frigates. I am not believing that. He is actually going to win. That is amazing. But Heaven is countering with some Auroras. The torpedo launcher is not going to be able to hit said Auroras. The Auroras will be able to hit said torpedo launcher. Interesting new dynamic. But the frigates might be able to tear a new one in it. Who knows? There's only one. Nope, never mind. There's no frigates left. I was wrong. I was wrong. It was doomed from the start. A Chief Jaguar looping some subs around the back end here. He could actually surface those to kill the engineer that is on top of the water, but he is not choosing to do so. He's going to kill all of these mass extractors off that Heaven has, eliminating some of that economy that is stabbing him in the kidney so well. Or his team anyway. The onslaught has not reached Jaguar directly as of yet. If I were him, I would be building a cruiser at some point in the near future, because the enemy has a T2 air, and that means swift winds and mercies and gunships and all manner of nasty things. That would appear to be a cruiser, so he is doing that thing that I just said. The Auroras are in. There was also a drop of artillery due to that air win, and now it looks like Unicorn is going to lose his base. He is doing a much better job than we saw in the previous match in Denial, though, because at least he is building some T1 tanks to try to counter, but it does not appear he's going to be super successful with that. Gunships are in the mix as well. There's T3 Air, though. Totally missed it. Keyser has shifted to T3 Air, so he is going to have ASF versus the Swift Winds. That is going to eliminate that air problem. He'll be able to kill the gunships, and maybe, just maybe, they can get back on top of this. Nicely done. That's a brilliant shift. It looks like T3 Air Factory is online for Heaven as well, but he has not got his T3 PGen yet, and therefore will not be able to build ASF at any kind of reasonable pace. Heaven was banking on the increased early aggression, buying him the time to get to T3 Air, but it appears he was not correct in that assumption. However, that early eco, that early aggression, I should say, is going to eliminate most of the base for Unicorn Noob, all of the build power in the water for Unicorn Noob, secure a lot of extra mass extractors for the south side, and is going to start threatening Keyser's build in the rear. So I think as long as there isn't some stupidly lucky strap bomber that swings the entire match, I think that this is going to work out very well in the south side's favor. Good freaking gamble. We got a couple of restorers out, which is a very weird thing to see this early in a game. Not gonna lie, those restorers are going to come out here, start punching up the frigates and trying to save these factories, but I don't think that's going to work. There's just too many frigates and not enough restorers to deal the damage necessary to take those things out. The restorers, though, practically impervious to the anti-air fire from the frigates. They have such a huge health pool to draw on, it's almost not even fair. T2 gunships trying to harass some of the mexes down here, immediately going to be knocked out by the ASF. And now the T2 Navy from Chief Jaguar is on Taquito's doorstep. He has got a single Salem out, He has still got a few frigates. There is a cruiser over here that is probably going to cause some major issues. Probably could move the frigate or the cruiser down here and lock that factory, but we'll have to see if that actually happens. We do have an Exodus class from heaven, so he has moved to T2 Navy as well as T3 Air, and he is going to shore up the left side versus achieved. As of now, things do not look... they don't look too terribly bad for the North, but they don't look great either, because the Navy is not in good shape on this side. With Exodus class is going to be able to start hammering the base. I do believe that will be in reach if the destroyer lines up on this side correctly. Jaguar has not filled in all of his mass extractors to the extent that Chalk has. So there is going to be an economy advantage to the south side for quite some time, I feel like. Chalk has 147 income. Good lord, that is a massive amount of mass. Keyser at 111 is the closest to him. At the moment, he is trying to kill a cruiser with a group of torpedo bombers that are going to overshoot, have to turn around. There's the Seraphim Torps for you. 5 torp bombers to a cruiser, if you all remember the formula for what you need on that. He has got a lot more than 5. Be able to deal with that destroyer in one pass as well, I do believe. I spy with my little eye an unwanted artillery drop. The entire center is going to be taken out of Keyser's hands at this rate. He has got to get his air out where it needs to be, not even dropping all of his artillery. The arrogant son of a gun, he's dropping in clumps all around to try to get as many targets as possible with one drop. I mean, kudos to him for the extra micro. It is definitely going to work. We've got a missile cruiser out here. Seraphim T2 cruisers are nasty sons of guns, especially versus gunships, because they do have the flak and direct fire instead of just the direct fire like all of the other factions cruisers have. Those restorers are going to have to pull back a fair bit there. I think, how many are there? There are 5 or 6. 6. With 6 at mostly full health, he could definitely kill 1 cruiser. I don't know that he could kill 2. I think the 2 cruisers together would probably take that out. But with all the torp bombers he has, he could definitely take 1 cruiser with the torp bombers and the other cruiser with the gunships. Just not interested in doing that at this particular moment, it would appear. We're now going to start seeing some Auroras cross. They're going to try to gain a foothold on the other landmass. Interceptors chasing down a transport that is trying to get a drop off. Can't have that now, can we? And there are now 2 Salems online versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 destroyers. So yeah, not gonna work out super well for the south side. There are the remainder of the 5 destroyers over here. Jaguar is clumped. These are not, but it does look as if these Salems are under cloak, so Chief Jaguar is not going to be able to see those. Yes, he has no idea that they even exist. He is moving over to this side. He might get sucker punched. Let's see what happens here. I take that back. With the Navy split, they're not going to be able to hit from either side with enough units to overcome this. So Jaguar, I think, is still going to win. If he just pushes over to this side, now he's going to see the incoming Salem fire. He should be able to know exactly what is over there. Restore's still alive. Hanging out over there. We've got a continuous stream of T1 mobile artillery moving over here. I am curious as to whether or not... Nah, I think with the ground being so disrupted here, you probably can't get close enough to hit that. Very interesting to see how this map is turning out. There's so much different stuff that happens that you don't normally see in the standard maps in the mix. I hope that that doesn't cause enough frustration for people to go back to their run-of-the-mill maps. Alright, these guys are going to retreat. Does not like the look of the pincer maneuver. I'm just waiting for the T3 factory to go down for a Chief Jaguar and start pumping out battle cruisers, because that seems to always be the direction that this goes. Lots of assistance on that. Still getting destroyers out. T3 engineers getting transported to the front for who knows what. Air production is a little bit casual at the moment. And it would appear that the north side still has a little bit of an air advantage. Oh no. Okay, good. They didn't see the transport. I was about to say, that would be a hard loss. A T2 transport with 2 T3 engineers lost like that, it would be bad news. Restorers plus ASF definitely are going to be able to kill any air the south side can throw. And it looks like a Chief Jaguar is in a little bit of a problem area. He's got 5 destroyers versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he definitely needs to back the hell up. There is no way he's going to get that. There's the T3 factory upgrade that I was looking for. And the center island is going to get completely wiped by those restorers. It goes back and forth, never completely swaying in one direction or the other. There's the ASF. There's the interceptors. I think there should not be a problem. Yeah, he's just going to totally mop that up. Secure the air win. Don't know where I went with wind on that one. And that will be that. I am expecting Torp and Strat Bombers. You've got control of the air. Now you need to exploit it. Alright, where's your battle cruiser? I'm waiting for it. Where are you going to be? Did you forget to queue it? There it is. Battle cruiser ahoy. Alright, the TAC defense is being built. But I don't know how long that is going to hold up. Unicorn Noob has 5 freaking mass to work off of. All of his mass extractors are down. He's not going to be able to build fast enough. The TMD is now getting destroyed. I think that is going to be the end of his base. And one of the most painful, long, drawn-out losses I have seen in a while. All is not lost, though, because T3 Air is secure in the hands of the north side, and a Chief Jaguar is about to have a freaking battle cruiser on the map. So this could still swing either way. Unfortunately, Unicorn Noob's base is not going to be the deciding factor in this game. Where are you headed? That is enough for a snipe. Where are you going to go? Heaven would actually be a decent target. Although he would be able to dodge. Those are Aeon strats that we're talking about here. So it might be better to kill something with a little more... I don't know. The ACU has strategic value, so I don't want to imply that it doesn't. But you could Shift G a clump of mexes or power generators, take those offline. Rather than targeting the ACU directly, I would probably Shift G 2 bombers to each on the power generators here. Because long term, that would shut down Heaven's air production. And that would end up being a super great thing. It would prolong the hold on the air win. That's a lot of strat bombers. Those are cruisers. Please do not fly over. Do you see this? Do you see this thing right here? This thing that you should never, ever, ever, ever fly over. You are about to fly over 2. Not 1. 2. Here come the strats. It looks like they are making a beeline for Heaven's ACU. Taking some heavy damage on the front ones, but they will still have enough HP to get this taken care of. Heaven, you better put on your tap dancing shoes. Got T2 shield generators being built by his teammates to try to protect that commander. Oh my goodness. 2 bombs connected, 3 bombs connected. There's the T2 shield, but he cannot feel safe yet. There's still a lot of strats, definitely enough to take down the shielding. Oh my, another connection, no! The misstep takes it. Heaven is out of this game. Valiantly fought, good sir, valiantly fought. But alas, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Now that ACU is in the water, so it's not going to be super accessible, but there's the Shift G I was talking about. Going to wipe out half the mexes on the island in one pass. Interceptor's going to interfere with some of those strap bomber operations. Cruisers on the bay are going to be able to knock down any more strap bombers that come this way. Going to move out, start taking out the economy on the northern islands. And it would appear that the battle cruiser has reached the front line on a Chief Jaguar side that is going to totally shut down the Navy. The air is one, the Navy is one on this side, and the strap bombers are harassing all of this lovely eco. I think it is going to be very, very difficult for the south side to come back from this. They still have a huge clump of cruisers over here. They might theoretically be able to take out that T3 factory if they are careful about it. That amount of cruisers is also going to be able to completely deny the airspace to any amount of gunships, and probably do a good job versus T3 torpedo bombers as well, unless Keyser is able to individually target those cruisers down and they don't have enough veterancy to survive the one pass, and none of them do. So if he Shift G's those torpedo bombers, he should be able to knock out 3 with the first 3, and then the rest, and that'll save this son of a gun. So heart-wrenching when you see a hit like that. They were doing so well. Doing so very, very well. But it appears that the north side is going to take it. Now it's just a matter of cleanup. So at this point in the game, it's basically down to don't make a stupid mistake. If you make a stupid mistake, you still could lose it. If you don't make a stupid mistake, you pretty much got it in the bag. Battle cruisers slowly but surely moving towards the front lines. Taquito is building a battleship, which is going to be pretty much the only thing Sovereign has to deal with a battle cruiser. But he's going to have 1 battleship versus 2 battle cruisers with a full backing navy, and that just is not going to be enough. The damage is so high on the battle cruisers, even though their HP is lower, the battleships take so long to kill them. The cruisers are just going to be able to straight up demolish all of the assisting navy, then start focus firing the battleship, and even if the battleship does succeed in killing both of them, it's still going to be left with all of the assisting navy that a Chief Jaguar has. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Unicorn Noob, though, staying alive at least for a few more seconds. He's hiding from the destroyers behind this rock. The pool is not deep enough to contain his ACU, though, so he can't stand still. Otherwise, he would get hit. Oh no. The T1 point defense, it can hit him. There, you gotta stay there. Oh, you better not peek over the edge of the rock, man. You're not going to be able to get that. Is he? No! There goes the destroyer beam. That is the end of that. Unicorn Noob surviving 27 minutes in a game where he probably should have been dead at least 15 minutes ago. Those are the worst games to play. The worst. For the people in chat who are asking, why don't you get submarines? You're versus UEF. The subs would not be able to do enough damage to kill the Navy before Coopers were able to come, and Coopers straight up wreck T2 subs in the face. So I think the destroyers are definitely the best way to go on this. But obviously Heaven is not alive. T2 subs also not a good way for Taquito to go. I may have assumed wrong on the implications of the chat. But yeah, battleships definitely a better thing to build. Destroyers definitely a better thing to build than subs. versus the UEF Navy, with the exception of if you are in a stage of the late game where you're dealing with thousands of mass in eco, and you're able to field multiple large navies. If you do get clumps of 10 or so, that was overkill, like swatting a gnat with a sledgehammer. Holy cow. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Really? That was 36,000 damage to kill a 6,000 HP destroyer. If you're able to field multiple navies without gimping your eco, then you can get clumps of 10 or 15 subs together, and you can harass UEF naval players fairly well, because they have to pay a lot of attention to where their Coopers are placed, and you can bait the Coopers to the side, kill them with your destroyers in your normal navy, and then just have at it with the subs, and there's nothing that they can do about it. But it requires a bit of micro, it requires a bit of planning, and it requires a lot of economy. Subs do have a place, but in this particular game, they would not have had a good effect overall. Cruisers moving in to try and deal with these subs. There's now 2 battleships, but you can see one is already very nearly dead. The battle cruisers are just about at full health. Battle cruisers are just fast enough to be able to dodge some battleship shots from long range, so you also have that to contend with. It's just not a good situation for the south side, all in all. Still so many cruisers. We're starting to see a couple of battleships and aircraft carriers come out on the north. They're making a valiant effort to secure the eco, and to be honest, they do have a hold on over half of the map. But the tech advantage is real with all of these battle cruisers over here. I am not sure why a Chief Jaguar did not just go straight in and wreck all of that. We're now down to 1 battleship defending and only 1 factory building. Torpedo bombers coming around the south side. That is probably going to be an ECU snipe. The air comeback is also real. Chalk building ASF, but he's not going to have them in the right place, and I don't think they have the radar coverage to see this coming. They do not. They have sonar, but they do not have radar. So these torp bombers are going to be an out of the blue offensive against Taquito's comm, and there is no way that he is surviving that many torps. Holy cow. 16 torps. Let's watch the damage fall off. And there goes all the HP. Wow. Why so much torps, though? I completely agree with this assessment of the situation. What is that? 64,000 damage or some such thing? 64,000 damage to kill a 12,000 HP commander. There is truly no kill like overkill. Purple is at 370 mass income. What are they doing with it? Probably sinking it into battleships on the north side. Seems to be what is building the fastest up here. So we got battleships. We've got maybe air units building. Nope, those are on attack missiles. He is building a lot of stuff. I just don't know that he's making full use. Yeah, he is. He definitely is making full use of that eco. It's all the T3 stuff. It's expensive building with that much build power. He's building SAMs as well. That's taking him that far negative. He's still in it to win it. He's trying. But he's about to lose his main base to a Chief Jaguar's eco that is about to hit him very, very hard from the left side. This up here is not going to be able to save him, even if it was down on this side. Oh, man. Battle cruisers coming into the bay. And there is nothing to defend. They're just going to straight up zap this stuff out of the water. They can probably also hit that commander. I don't think... Yeah, the ground is too flat. Battle cruisers will be able to hit the ACU. And with as much range as they have, the ACU won't be able to escape. I don't think. Cruisers, ahoy! Cruisers should be able to kill the P-Gens over here as well. There's no TMD over here. And the battle cruisers have arrived. That is a horrifying amount of damage. It is, I think, in excess of 500 DPS on each battle cruiser. I don't know why he's trying to dodge an aircraft carrier. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Oh, hello. T3 sub hunters. That might save the day until strat bombers come in and kill the ACU. Looks like we've still got torpedo bombers building and we've got strat bombers building. So he is clumping up both of those. Battleship hitting from the north. You can see what I was talking about with the battle cruisers being able to dodge those without too much of a problem. Why you got your navy so clumped, bro? Jaguar building a T3 Gen. I wonder if he's going to go for a nuke. He might actually. TMD going down. No, don't let your air die. Stop. It's messed up, yo. Battle cruisers actually taking a beating now. We've got 2 battleships and 2 T3 subs versus 3 battle cruisers, which are definitely going to lose, but just so cleanly dodging a couple of shots there. There's the battleship. Summit has arrived. Are you building Coopers? You should probably build a few Coopers, just saying. Jaguar is still streaming units to the south to maintain his push down here. You might argue that he should be pushing in this direction, and you would be correct, and he is. Looks like he is going to have a battle cruiser and a battleship over to this side to help clean up some of this stuff, get him off Keezer's back. There's another P-Gen. You know what I see here? I see here adjacency for a P-Gen, or for a shield, or for a nuke. We shall wait and see. Okay, you gotta kill the sub at some point. Summit moving back, dodging a couple of those shots. Should be able to hammer that battleship while the battle cruisers move back in. This one that is low health is definitely going to need to stay in the back. There's the torpedo bombers in to save the day. They'll be able to take out those T3 subs, no problem. And that is going to end the annoyances. That one lonely strat bomber out here, still killing stuff. Oh my. Oh no! I was thinking it would go for the engineers. He could have gotten another veterancy off of that. And we all know the Summit is for close range hits, right? Right. Yeah, if that T3 HQ dies, that would be good. The eco is real, but a Chief Jaguar has passed chalk. He's got all of these mass extractors now. Most of them are T2. Some of them are T3. Chalk is starting to lose some of his mass extractors to pushes by strat bombers and other things. So his eco is now dipping, but he has still got a hell of a lot of it to push out battleships with. Yo, strat bomber, kill some of these NGs, would you? Or mexes, that's fine too. Battle cruiser's just going to come in and try to tank some of this damage, kill the battleships. The T3 subs are doing a number, but they're targeting the wrong one. Good freaking deal. They're going to move up, kill the battleship. No! Couple of battleship shots to the face and 3 T3 subs. Battle cruisers do not have the HP to handle that kind of hit. One battle cruiser remaining at a quarter HP, and there's 2 battleships over there. But it looks like another summit class is coming into range on this side, and we've got 2 summits over here. So battleship to battleship, this is handled. Plus you got the shields over here. The alpha damage on the summits is just so brutal. Something like 12,000 damage per hit if all shots connect. And it fires all those guns together most of the time. There it is. That's how it typically is. And that one solid punch is just ridiculous. One more hit. There it goes. And now I can start focusing on this one. Just gotta break the turtley shell. No! Jaguar didn't build a nuke. What is the world coming to? Why? Alright, so he has diverted his battleship battle cruiser pairs to the north to start wiping all of this out. Keys are actually getting a leg up, trying to start capturing and claiming these mass extractors out in the water. Oh, screw waiting for him to get destroyed. I'm not even going to waste the mass to build these son of a guns. I'm just going to go out and capture them with my engineers since he can't protect them anymore. Totally a good plan. Bye, little destroyer. It was nice knowing you. And now the T3 subs do their work. Yeah, battleships just need to come down here and kind of focus fire the commander, because I think they can probably kill it in relatively short order. There's only 4 shields. Why are you building... What is this? You're building the nuke defense, like, right outside the shield. On the most exposed and vulnerable portion of your base. Why? Why not back here? Why not over here somewhere? Why not over here? It doesn't make sense. Here comes the torpedoes. The T3 factory is down right here, and now the build power is dying. That's going to half the amount of opposing navy that is coming in. Oh, ASF. ASF on the torpedo bombers. Well, what on earth is this? Like a geometric pattern. It's actually kind of cool. Looks like enough torp bombers are going to get through to kill at least one of the subs. The rest immediately trying to retarget, but being too slow about it. It's going to leave that one alive. There's now 3 battleships versus 3 battleships. Throw in the couple of shield boats and cruisers, and I think the UEF has the advantage on that one. Keys are sending in some some torpedo bombers of his own to take care of those subs. He might get in the shot. Summit class is moving back. He starts to win air. Yeah, kind of actually. He's got plenty of ASF. He's fighting hard. I've got to give a huge amount of props to Chalk here, because he did not give up, and he is holding his own relatively well. But I just don't know. I don't know that it's going to work. We got Coopers now, which are rapidly dying, but they are buying shots from the battleships. 3 battleships at half health or greater versus 3 battleships, 2 of them at half health or lower. And we've got 1 fresh one coming in from the north with another very nearly built. So the production is super serial on this side. Ah, here comes an Atlantis. That will deal with those pesky T3 subs. Jaguar is starting to claim some of this down here, but it would appear the T1 artillery is still going to be a thorn in their side, knocking out those T2 mexes that just got built, and Chalk actually still controls the center. Here comes the snipe of the T3 HQ. So many torpedoes. Gonna easily kill all of those things. That is gonna be the end of the T3 production. ASF coming in to try and deal with those torp bombers. The amount of ASF is greater that's in Chalk's hands, but he is going to get a little bit of a bad turn in there, get his ASF separated. He is still going to have enough, though, if he clumps back up. That is some abominable air micro. What is this even? What? Keezer might just... He is going to take the win on that. There's the regrouping. A little bit of a bad turn, and nope. Alright, so Chalk did have enough in the end, but good lord, he almost handed that over. On a silver platter due to some horrific micro. I don't even know what was going on in his head there. But we've got all these T3 torpedo bombers now. They will be able to knock out the last of those battleships. There's a naval factory rebuilding, but I don't think it's going to be enough. A Chief Jaguar has broken the front line. He's still got all three of his summits alive, and he is going to start pounding away at this base. There's a second nuke defense. What the hell? I don't even see... There's not a nuke sub. There's not a nuke unless I'm totally missing something. Why is he so paranoid about building nuke defenses? Because he has not scouted, that's why. At all. So he's doing preventative maintenance to a certain degree. Alright, summits. Target that ACU. Why are you building T1 power generators? What on earth? First impact takes the shield below half HP. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. T3 torpedo bombers coming in, shrugging off the damage from those ASF. There's so many torp bombers, the ASF can't possibly kill them fast enough. Restorers coming in to kill all of the build power on the north side. Battlecruiser cleaning up the remainder. And I think that is gonna be the end of it. Finally. Finally. Just gotta kill that commander now. This was a long and well-fought game, for sure. The early aggression was so cool to see, because a lot of times on naval maps, you don't get to see that degree of early game. You had the eco scaling, you got the big end game units, you got the massive ecos, you just get the whole package. So much build power on that T3 Navy, holy cow. We're going to have to look at the score screen after this game because I want to see where the lines fall out. Battle cruisers starting to hammer away at the T2 artillery. Black is just not giving up. Chalk, whatever his name is. He is trying desperately to pull something out of this to make his death as painful as possible. The middle islands are starting to fall. That Atlantis is not even going to get to the other side of the map in time to fight. That sucks. Battleships are just going to calmly get out of range of the T2 artillery and start firing in again. UEF battleship is the only one that outranges T2 arty. Cybran and Seraphim have the same range as T2 artillery, and Aeon has a shorter range. So they can just calmly sit out and hammer their way into the base. Chalk is punching well above his weight. That is an accurate statement in the chat. Here come the restorers. Gonna start plinking away at the shields with their abysmal damage. But some is better than none, you know. And that is going to be a game freeze, which probably means that 5 minutes in the future, the game has ended and there is a potential for the replay to break. I'm going to give it just a minute and we will see if it picks up. People in the chat saying, I don't know, not really satisfied by this game. I feel like the better team lost. Blink is very good, but he only plays 2v2s. I don't know. Sometimes the best team can have just something go critically wrong, or have bad luck, or have a bad teammate, or something like that. It is a 3v3 game, and you got to put all 3 people together. Heaven and Taquito are extremely good players. Keezer and Jaguar are also extremely good players. I have not seen Unicorn Noob play much, but he's got an 1800 rank. And I've not seen Chalk play much, but he has got a 1600 rank and has carried himself very well in this game. So I honestly do think this was pretty well balanced. And it does not look like this is going to continue. So we are going to declare Achieve Jaguar and Keezer the victors. Unicorn Noob with the honorary title since he is dead, I suppose. And that is going to be that game. Let me shut everything down, reset a couple of things, and I'll be back with the semifinal for the tourney.